In 3-hour Rogan interview, Trump reveals biggest mistake. Have you been in an accident that wasn't your fault? Well, then you could be entitled to compensation. Nobody likes getting lowballed and given the runaround while at their lowest, and I know what it's like to be left stressed out of my mind and buried in paperwork while trying to keep a case moving forward. It is very, very hard. There must be an easier way. Well, Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm, is there to streamline the entire process so that you can keep up with everything from your smartphone if you become their client. All you have to do to get started is answer a few questions, and then Morgan & Morgan will get the ball rolling with a free case evaluation. And from there, a crack team picked from a roster of over 1,000 lawyers across all 50 US states will take care of the rest. And if having a team of lawyers, paralegals, and investigators isn't enough, then 24/7 support is available from more than 6 cohorts of support staff, or almost 4,000 if you're not Rome-pilled. Point is, there will always be someone on hand to answer any questions that you may have. And with this much manpower at their disposal, you can be sure that Morgan & Morgan will be able to fight for the best result possible, having already recovered over $20 billion from more than 3 million clients. But if Morgan & Morgan is not able to win your case, then the fee is completely free. So, if you've been seriously injured, you can check out Morgan & Morgan by going to forthepeople.com/Count Dankula or by clicking the link in the description to get started on a claim. I'll save it for the end. Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump's 3-hour interview with America's #1 podcaster Joe Rogan has been released. In the wide-ranging sit-down, the former president discusses everything from the biggest mistake of his White House tenure, what he told North Korea's leader, and whether extraterrestrial life exists. 2 years ago, Rogan described Trump as an existential threat to democracy. And refused to have him on his show. But the pair seemed friendly on Friday as they chatted about their shared interests in Ultimate Fighting Championship and mutual friends like Elon Musk. The Republicans' campaign hopes the interview will consolidate his influence with male voters who make up the core of listeners to the Joe Rogan Experience, which has 14.5 million Spotify followers and 17.5 million YouTube subscribers. Trump took a major detour to visit Rogan in Austin, Texas, causing him to show up almost 3 hours late to a rally in Traverse City, Michigan, a crucial swing state where both he and his Democratic opponent, Kamala Harris, have been campaigning hard. Trump on his biggest mistake. Trump told Rogan the biggest mistake of his 2017 to 21 presidency was, I picked a few people I shouldn't have picked. Neocons are bad people or disloyal people, he told Rogan, referring to neoconservatives. Policymakers who champion an interventionist US foreign policy, or by the way, I just thought I would show off, my hair's back. Kind of. Kinda. It's filling in. This is the thing is, like, even though I was like bald for ages, right? It's because my hat's pulled it all right back, and it's obviously flattened down. But look, I'm actually getting like you have all seen it. You all know that I'm bald as fuck, right? Look, even though it's still thin and it's still horrible, it's coming back. I thought when you went bald, you went bald. Like, see all this? This wasn't here before. My hair's coming back. Like, I'm becoming not bald. It still looks like shit. It still looks terrible, but weirdly, my hair's coming back. Wonder what caused that. But anyway, neocons are bad or disloyal people, he told Rogan, referring to neoconservatives, policymakers who champion an interventionist US foreign policy, in other words, the Team America World Police bullshit. A guy like Kelly, who was a bully but a weak person, Trump added, mentioning his former White House Chief of Staff John Kelly, who told the New York Times this week that he thought his former boss had fascist tendencies. Wow, calling Trump a fascist, how new and revolutionary. Oh, fucking, that's new. Not like they fucking do that 3 million times a day. Trump also describes his former US National Security Advisor John Bolton as an idiot but useful at times. He was good in a certain way, said Trump. He's a nut job. And every time I had to deal with the country when they saw this whack job standing behind me, they said, oh man, Trump's going to go to war with us. He was with Bush when they went stupidly into the Middle East. True. Trump says he told Kim Jong-un, go to the beach. Trump said he got to know North Korean leader Kim Jong-un very well, despite some nuclear saber rattling between the two initially, when Trump said he told him, little rocket man, you're going to burn in hell. By the time I finished, we had no problem with North Korea, Trump said. Trump said he urged Kim to stop building up his substantial weapons stockpile. I said, do you ever do anything else? Why don't you go take it easy? Go to the beach, relax. I said, you're always building nuclear, you don't have to do it. Relax, I said. Let's build some condos on your shore. Trump also argued that Russia would never have invaded Ukraine if he had been president. I said, Vladimir, you're not going in, he told Rogan, referring to Russian President Vladimir Putin. I used to talk to him all the time. I can't tell you what I told him because I think it would be inappropriate, but someday he'll tell you, but he would never have gone in. Trump said Putin invaded Ukraine because, number one, he doesn't respect Biden at all. The White House has previously accused Trump of cozying up to foreign autocrats because when you're doing, basically, when you're trying to not go to war and you're trying to solve, like, issues you have with foreign countries, that's what you do. You sit down and talk about it like fucking adults. And that entails going in and being nice and friendly and actually sorting it out. I mean, what would you rather? Would you rather your president goes in and acts a little bit nice to some possible maniac, and that way any type of crisis and war is averted, or would you rather just be absolute dirty fucking war hawks and send 10,000 sons, brothers, and fathers to go get killed for corporate interests? Is that what you would rather have? I mean, I was saying I would rather my president was just nice to the guy instead of, thousands of my countrymen dead. And women and children, because, they're always caught in the crossfire in these conflict zones. I mean, I know what I would pick. But then again, I'm not a dirty fucking war hawk. On 2020 election, I lost by, I didn't lose. As for proof to back up his false claims that the 2020 presidential was stolen from him by mass voter fraud, Trump told Rogan, we'll do it another time. I would bring in papers that you would not believe, so many different papers. That election was so crooked, it was the most crooked. Rogan pressed him for evidence. Trump alleged irregularities with ballots in Wisconsin and that Democrats used COVID to cheat. Are you going to present this proof ever? Asked Rogan. Said Trump before pivoting to talk about how 51 former intelligence agents aligned with Joe Biden had falsely suggested that stories about his son Hunter Biden's laptop were Russian disinformation. I lost by I didn't lose, said Trump, quickly correcting himself. So this is obviously the BBC, impartial and all that stuff. Harris, very low IQ. I did laugh when he said that. Very low IQ. She's a very stupid person, Joe. Very stupid person. She never worked in McDonald's. I worked in McDonald's. Give everybody an extra nuggie. I always give extra nuggies. Anyway, he called his rival Vice President Kamala Harris a very low IQ person. I mean, she is. And described California's Gavin Newsom as one of the worst governors in the world. California is a shithole. So, yeah, correct. Trump said that Elon Musk, who has appeared on Rogan's podcast in the past, was the greatest guy. He also said he is completely committed to bringing Robert F. Kennedy Jr. into a potential new Trump administration. And I like RFK Jr. I liked him when he said he was going to shut down the CIA and the FBI, and oh my God, fucking Godspeed to you. The stuff he does with animals is weird, right? Now, that usually makes people think, sexual stuff. No. He found a dead bear on the road. It was roadkill. It was a roadkill bear. He found a dead bear on the road, picked it up, put it in his truck, and dumped the body in, Central Park. And everyone was in a flap about it, going, how the fuck did a fucking bear get into Central Park? And there was this big investigation and all that while he was just laughing. That's funny. That is funny. But then there was also another story where a dead whale washed up on shore. And he cut the whale's head off, strapped it to the roof of his truck, and drove away with it and kept it. It's weird. I mean, to be fair, would I want a whale skull to have mounted in my garden? Yeah, of course. Of course I would. But it's just strange all the weird stories that there are around RFK and dead animals. The former independent presidential candidate who had a close friendship with Rogan dropped out in August and endorsed the Republican nominee. Trump said he disagrees with Kennedy on environmental policy, so would instead ask the vaccine critic to focus on health, do whatever you want, because he is also focused on just the utter poison that's been put in American food for fucking so long, right? There's ingredients that are in American food that are totally illegal to put in food over in the EU because the stuff's poison. The stuff's just poison. It's not fucking good for you. There's a reason that Americans are some of the fattest people in the world and all that, right? It's just not good for you. I'm going out my way just now to eat like stuff that's as little processed as possible. So I'm just eating meat, essentially. Weirdly, I feel better. I'm not on the carnivore diet. I'm still eating some carbs and stuff like that, but it's mostly rice. Also, I'm actually not as fat anymore. People still keep calling me fat, and it's sad because I enjoy all the fat jokes. I enjoy all the fat jokes. They're funny. Right? You all roast me. That's this agreement that we have. I post something on Twitter and everybody goes, "Hey baldy, hey fatty." But I mean, those days might be over. My hair is coming back, and also this shirt used to be really baggy on me, boys. Like, I've actually lost a lot of fucking weight. Soon I'll be sexy and pretty, and it's still only going to be fatties that will fucking like me on Tinder. But anyway, there's no reason on extraterrestrial life. Trump said that he. I need this wee cold to go away. Trump said that he hadn't ruled out there being life in space. I don't rule it out either. Right, just for. Do I think they came here and built the pyramids? No, I don't believe that. However, see, even if what happened here on Earth where like life evolved and we're now exploring the moon and all that type of shit as well, see, even if that is like a 1 in 10 trillion chance of that happening, space is so fucking big that it then kind of becomes a guarantee. Even a 1 in 10 trillion chance with the fucking sheer immensity of space means that life being out there is a guarantee. Right? Most likely it's in another galaxy and we're never going to see it. We're never going to meet other life. So is there life out there? Absolutely. Absolutely. Just going by the laws of probability, there has to be. Will we ever meet it? Probably not. Sad to say. There's no reason not to think that Mars and all these planets don't have life, he said, referring to discussions he'd had with jet pilots who'd seen very strange things in the sky. Well, Mars, we've had probes there and rovers, and I don't think there's any life there, Rogan said. Maybe it's life that we don't know about, said Trump. Maybe Mars could have had life at one point, possibly, because there is water on Mars. It's just frozen, because it doesn't have an atmosphere. And the theory is there was a giant asteroid impact. Some people are theorising Olympus Mons. Was it? Possibly. And what happened was the impact was so huge that it just ripped Mars's atmosphere right off the planet, killed all the life, etc., etc. You know the drill. Maybe. I don't know. On The Apprentice, Trump said that some senior figures at NBC had tried to talk him out of running for president to keep his show The Apprentice on air. They wanted me to stay, he said. All the top people came over to see me, try and talk me out of it, because they wanted to have me extend. Trump featured in 14 series of The Apprentice from 2004, but NBC cut ties with him after he launched his 2015 bid for the presidency, citing his derogatory comments about immigrants. Now, to be fair, what was more entertaining, Trump on The Apprentice or Trump in the White House? I know what I would rather have. His health is unbelievable. Trump has been under pressure from Democrats to release his medical records after Harris released hers earlier this month, which concluded she was in excellent health and fit for the presidency. Trump's team said at the time that his doctor described him as being in perfect and excellent health without sharing his records. Trump didn't address the topic directly on Friday's podcast, but he told Reagan that during one physical, for which he didn't give a date, doctors had described his ability to run on a steep treadmill as unbelievable. I was never one that could run on a treadmill when passing a physical. They asked me to run on a treadmill and then they make it steeper and steeper and steeper, and the doctor said it was at Walter Reed Hospital. They said it's unbelievable, I'm telling you. I felt like I could have gone on all day. This is just Trump being Trump. But he said treadmills are really boring, so he prefers to stay healthy by playing golf. North America correspondent Anthony Zurcher makes sense of the race for the White House in his twice-weekly blah, blah, blah. Oh, wait, that's just a fucking stupid bit at the end. Right. I thought I was very excited for the Trump Rogan interview, and I watched the entire thing. Eh, it was all right. It was all. It was okay. You know, like see when they went, oh, I opened up the JFK files. That's when I was like, go on. And then they just moved on, and I was like, okay. I was over there. I spoke to Big Kim. Spoke to Big Kim, North Korea. Big Kimmy Bin Man, as we call it, as we call him. And man, and I was like leaning in, and then they just moved on. They got into the aliens, and then they just moved on. And I'm like, come on, man. Even like the assassination attempt, they touched on it a little bit briefly, and I'm like, look, I want to hear like the internal deep lore behind all of that, and they just moved on. So basically, some very exciting subjects did get brought up, but then they just moved on quickly. Like Trump spent more time talking about how I'm very fit on a treadmill, than talking about JFK and the aliens combined. That kind of annoyed me. That kind of annoyed me. So it was nice to see him. It was nice to see him and Rogan, having a little bounce back and forth with each other. But there was so much interesting stuff that just got moved on from. But still, is Trump going to win? I'm blackpilled, boys. If the election was done fairly, yeah, Trump's winning. If it was done fairly, Trump's winning. I want him to win. But there's going to be there's going to be trucks turning up at 4 a.m. again. They cannot let him in. They've been trying to jail him. They've been trying to throw him in jail. They've been using every single dirty trick in the book. And now he's going to be the man sitting in the big chair holding the big club. And he's going to be coming for them in revenge. They are not going to let him win.